Hey everybody, it's Kathryn Woodard. I'm back to tell you a little bit more about the course in Vienna, Creativity at the Piano. In the last video I made, I basically just kind of give you a rundown of why I put the course together, what my interest was in composition, how I came to composition, though I'm primarily a pianist. So today I want to talk a little bit more about what I've noticed with students, some of the benefits of working with students on composition, and also to give you teachers some idea of what you'll take away from the course. So I think in a lot of cases, we don't teach composition to younger students because we have certain expectations. We have this idea in our classical music culture that we uphold these great genius composers, and that process just comes later. You start at an instrument, you get good at that instrument, and then maybe you have the talent or you don't to start composing. I think that's misinformed. I'm sure a lot of you agree with me, but how to go about it? Because if you've studied composition, you're not necessarily learning how to teach younger ages that skill. As a piano teacher, you may have had the experience, I certainly did. I've gone through multiple years of schooling, I've achieved a certain level of performance, and then I start teaching young students who are beginners. How do you go back several decades and remember how to do this? So I have every respect for composers who have really phenomenal, successful careers, have been at it a much longer time than me, but they probably find themselves in the same boat. Would I know what to do with a beginner who is just starting out? So I feel like my experiences as a performer of new music, I'm familiar with a lot of different styles. I can encourage students that yes, this is possible. You can absolutely write a piece that way. They're just not familiar with it yet. I feel like that perspective that I bring to it opens the field a little bit more for me. Also, because I'm a relatively newcomer to composing, I kind of meet them at their level. We do lots of things that I find interesting myself, and we experiment with that. And then in the process, I even share with them what I've developed myself out of that last improv we did last week. So, number one is having expectations that are reasonable for the age that you are working with. If we set a blank piece of paper in front of a child with a crayon, what do we expect at age 3? What do we expect at age 5? And so on. So it's about initiating the creative process at whatever age and not having fixed expectations. You have to be this in order to be interested in being a composer. I think once you get past that barrier and you're given some ideas of how to work with students, you'll see some remarkable benefits. Benefits that I've noticed right away are students are much more willing to practice writing notes and practice understanding the notation when it's their own project, when they're wanting to write something down that they are going to call their own. So they'll make remarkable progress in the detail of writing notes or even just generating creative ideas. Some of them won't take to the note writing right away, but the improvisational exercises will stimulate their listening in a variety of ways. And that's another benefit, is that when they're learning a piece that has to be a certain way, we all have different expectations of the details that we want in it, the dynamics, and the pedaling needs to be clean and all of these things. And they're constantly feeling corrected, and that's part of the process. But the composition element to the lessons lets them break out of that. This is mine. She said, I can do whatever I want. So this is what I want, and then maybe let's figure out how we write it down, or we don't write it down. And for that matter, why not introduce graphic notation from a very early age? Write something, draw a shape, draw a picture, some lines that are going to kind of help you figure out what you do with the melody. And then show them some scores that are graphic notation. This is a real thing. You can do this. So those are my perspectives on why this is so useful for younger ages. And it doesn't mean that it's just the benefit of getting them to write notes clear and whatever. It's really about developing their creative process. And I'm talking about younger ages, but older ages, even if they're not very experienced as a performer, you'll recognize that they can already formulate longer phrases, bigger pieces. They can put together longer compositions, even if they're just coming to the piano new. It's just part of our cognitive development. So that's an exciting process. They may feel like they're behind if they've started the instrument late, but you can still take them through some creative projects on a higher level. So I hope this gives you some further inspiration and ideas to work with, and also the kinds of tools that you'll be working with if you join the course in Vienna.